So, one of the conversation points that you often hear is that there is a group of individuals that are left behind. And it doesn't matter what that group of individuals are, right? For the longest time, it was, various different underrepresented groups. It continues to be. Other times or now that's sort of coming up that you hear, it's, you know, um, the messaging that you hear is well, I'll say it because I'm sort of representative, Caucasian males that are within a certain genre, and and they're being held back, right? That they are not competitive anymore, and I don't think any of this. I mean, if you think about the sort of just biology of this, right? So the sort of basics of it is we're all sort of born the same way. And so then we have to look at what is the social structure that's going on behind the scenes? What could we do to drive this? And I don't think that there are, you know, definitely there are biological differences between those that have a certain amount of wealth and some that don't, and I'm going to suggest why. The biological reasons is due to malnutrition, right? Like those things have been around for a long time. We know malnutrition has a huge impact on, you know your success in life, right, and what you actually get. So that plays a factor, but I don't think it's as big of a factor that that one would think. I think the bigger factor is people, and this is where I want to go, is that it's essentially a marketing problem that we have, where people are, and it's not like on one side, it's not like it that there's not opportunities to do well and sort of play the game. But the marketing problem is that there's a message that's being played out that you can't do it. That there is a message that's being played out that there is such high barriers. And that's why it's true for anybody in any group, in any underrepresented group, uh, even if it's the majority. And if the messaging is that it is so impossible that you can't do it, that you are, that there's a certain group of elites that get there, which I do believe that message, right? I think that there is really strong, social classes that are somewhat invisible. However, there's always somebody that can do it. And there's always somebody, if somebody else has done it before you, and it doesn't matter what that particular sort of category you're looking at, if there's somebody that's made it to a certain level, sure as hell you could do it too. And that's what I always think about. Why is it that we're not convincing more people that somebody else has done this? Why can't you do it? And I think a lot of people do believe that. And there's a moment that I think the messaging is that it's easy. The messaging is that you should be able to get there by 20 years old or 25 years old. And that's just stupid messaging, right? Like that is something that's being, I don't know where that's coming from and who's saying that. Um, but you're not going to get there when you're 20 years old. And I think, part of that comes from social media, the sort of display. And I hate to be it's not social media the way that most people think, right? That's not what I'm saying. I think it's a glorious thing. Social media in the sense that there are some people that have done exceptionally well and they're doing really, really well. And so I think seeing that as a social comparison, when you see that, you feel like you somehow have messed up or that you didn't get there. Like that there's something that you're problematic about. And the truth is, some things just take time, right? Like sometimes there's sort of two ways to do this, right? You get extremely lucky, and some people get that, which I don't believe that they sort of hold on to that luck for a long time. I don't think it's necessarily that persistent. I think some things are, but and sometimes you have sort of persistent effects, but most of the time it's not. You think about all the one-hit wonders that have done well. They they're just one-hit wonders. Um, on the opposite side, you've got people that just keep working and grinding. And if you have that, right, if you have that sort of thing that, hey, it's not going to, probably not going to happen to me today. I don't believe it's going to happen in the next year, but I think I could do this, and I think I could get to where I'm going by the time I'm 50 or by the time I am 70 years old. And that belief that it's probably going to take 40 years or 50 years, that is more in line with what reality actually is. In the real world, if you take an average, it's extremely slow to move up in social class. The only way that we really know that you can accelerate things quite rapidly is through education, but that doesn't mean you can't do it any way else and any other way. It just takes a long time and it takes a lot of dedication. And that's all that education does, is that it sort of accelerates things a little bit. You do learn some lessons here and there. I don't think it's as big of a fact in terms of lessons. I think that there is an effect. Um, you do learn things, but the bigger thing is that you're just sticking with something that takes a long time. It's rigorous, it's difficult, and um, that's all that really matters, right? Like if somebody gave you a course of action, right, gave you 6 courses of action, and those 6 courses of action ranged from this is going to be hard, but there's going to be good outcomes from this, to this is going to be super easy, and there's kind of like, it's medium outcomes for this. Always choose the hard. Always choose the hard. And if you always choose the hard direction, the one that's going to be the most difficult, but seemingly has a higher potential, you're going to do okay as long as you stick with it. And I strongly believe that it's a heuristic in my own life that has served me right in many times. And hopefully it'll be a heuristic that will help you out as well. All right, take care and have a wonderful day. Bye.